it's just like an even all over. When they say Caesar, they used to just say, oh yeah, just give me that Caesar cut. Like back in the day, you know, like 90s and so. It was just an even all over. On a black man, it just looked like waves. When everybody's walking around just sitting there brushing their hair all day, it just looks like just waves. And it's usually about a 1.5. A 2 is grown out a lot and they want it to be wolf, like 360 Jeezy if you ever watch it online. But just all over. If it's a white guy, it's just a buzz cut. Just a one all over. We hear buzz cut, or if a kid comes in and the parent says, hey, just buzz them all over with a number 2. Cool. Even all over. Just go against the grain. Some of you guys have probably already done that so far. And then you edge them up. That's how I start getting good at haircuts, because I start understanding growth patterns. And anytime we're doing straight hair, you want to cut against the grain. You cut with the grain. If there's no waves and no curls to it, it's not really taking anything off whatsoever. It's just pushing. I think about like grass. It just kind of pushes it. This is the hair, just pushes the hair down and just smooths over. It ain't doing nothing to it. Just push it down. When you wet it, it's going to come right back up. Or if you comb it against the grain, it's going to come right back up. So you got to, in order to do it, you got to cut it against the grain. If you cut with the grain, it just smooths the hair down on straight hair. On curly texture hair, we say overly curly texture hair on black guys or guys that are mixed, right? If the hair is going with the grain, it's going to still cut, because you gotta, now look at my curls. Can y'all see this? This is my curl. All right, when the way the curls look, as they curve over, it's doing this, right? So with this curl, when I cut, it's going to cut off. See where my knuckles are? It's going to cut this part off. And then it's gonna cut the next part. So it's like this. When I'm cutting with the grain on curly hair, it's going to cut this right there. So the hair is still getting cut, okay? When you cut against the grain, it's going to cut from under here. It's gonna actually pick this up and cut shorter. So anytime you hear us saying go with the grain on a black man, 1.5 with the grain, that's just wavelength. It's gonna push the curls down to smooth it, but you still have waves. You still have hair going on, but it doesn't come underneath it. But if you cut against the grain, that 1.5 is gonna look like you took either a 1 or a no guard all the way over, and like you just did a buzz and you tried to cut it really short, because that's maybe what he like. Okay, just depends on what it is. If somebody has really long hair and they're a black guy, and it's like wolfed out, like maybe he either had a fro before, or he just grew it too long, and it's like probably like a 3 or 4 in guards, 3 or 4. What happens now is when you decide I want to go 1.5 with the grain, and you go with the grain, it takes it off, but it still looks really thick. So in order for you to really understand where they're going, it's okay for you to take like a 2 and go against the grain. Anybody hear what I said? A number 2. A number 2 against the grain is like you doing a 1.5 with the grain. Does that make sense? It's like a half step above that. Okay. 2 against the grain is like me taking a 1.5, and then when I finish, I'm gonna take that 1.5 and go back with the grain. All right. So everybody understand numbers. Okay. On the, when it comes down to like, let's talk geometry real quick. When it comes to like full circle, half circle, you're gonna hear me saying something like this a lot. 90-degree angle, right? Or right angle. We call these haircuts uniform haircuts. If I'm in between the 90-degree angle, completely halfway, I am a what?
45.
45. If I'm not in between and I'm above the 90-degree angle, does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I'm above it, I'm not quite 45 here anymore, right? I'm 45 plus more. Anytime we hear that, we call that long layers. Or 180 degree. And that starts getting into when we start dealing with longer haircuts, shear cuts. And that's gonna make sense when you cutting, if I'm doing Cooper's hair, I cut against the grain. And then all of a sudden, or around the sides and back, I do clippers, but I need to do shears on top. How much do I keep on? That's in that reference term, 45 degrees. But the majority of your clippers and your guards that you're gonna see when we talk about opening it halfway, you're dealing with 45 degrees, that acute angle. Make sense? When you hear us saying big C, we're talking about 45-degree angle. It might be a 65. It might be a 35. But what we see it as a 45-degree angle, or we call it graduation. 90 degrees uniform, because all of it is going to be uniform. Hence, if I'm right here, if this is the head curvature right there, I'm pulling it 90 degrees up from the head curvature. See that? There's my 90 degree. But right here, I'm doing the same thing, 90 degree. Right here, doing the same thing, 90 degree. Everybody see where I'm going with this?
So all follow the head shape.
Follow the head shape. So you follow the head shape. Everywhere the head is, you follow the head shape. If I'm back here, the way this looks, it looks like a mohawk. See how from our angle, it's like, oh, it looks like a 45 degree. Because it's a diagonal line.
Yeah, 90.
But from the head curve, it's 90 degrees. Does that make sense? It's rounded layers. That Justin Bieber, old school, right? That's what you're looking at. Mohawk. And then this is just like coming down. Everybody see where I'm going with that? Okay. When we start getting with shorter hair, same thing here. But when I start dealing with shorter hair, I want to now start taking it and I want to go 45 degree in. When I go 45, I'm going shorter here. Can y'all see my 45 degree? Right in this little crevice right there. There's my 45 degree angle, graduation. But I'm gradually getting longer, and then I get back shorter. Yes?
Yes. So middle is 90, edge is the 45.
Yep. This is all 90 degrees, but then I gradually. Now let me just redo it. It's longer here, so yes, it's a 90 here.
Yeah.
And it could even be a 90 here.
Okay.
But I need to drop down and I need to get shorter.
Okay.
So now my angle is going to start changing. My angle changes. My angle changes. My angle changes. See that?
Right.
So I'm no longer going to be a 90 degree. I'm gradually getting shorter. Okay? That's where guards come in at.
Okay.
When it's too short for me to put my fingers to it and keep finger length at, now I'm dealing with a shorter degree. So either I'm doing clip over comb, putting the comb in there for the clippers to get closer, or I'm doing shears over comb, or I may even take a really short guard. If clip over comb, if it's too much hair to get in there and clip over comb can't hit it, then go ahead and pull your guard out. Okay? Anything above a 4, all right? A 4 or above is considered finger length. I tell everybody, just go ahead, finger length or freeform. On a black man, it's freeform. When you get froze, right? If I was gonna do Jordan's hair, I would pick Jordan's hair out and I would freeform that. Okay? On a black man, when you have overly curly hair, and it's okay to say, Miss Yash, I got a black guy that wants me to freeform his hair, right? It's too long, like he wants me to just shape the top of his head. Okay, cool. You don't have to try to tiptoe around the fact that he's black. We know we're black, right? We not gonna. I ain't ever been to Africa. We don't have to say African American. There are some people that's so politically correct, and I'm saying that because I want to give you license to my white guys, my Hispanic guys, my white girls, my Hispanic girls. I want to give you license to be able to say, hey, I got a black guy out there that wants a haircut. We're not gonna be like, black, I can't believe you. As long as you don't say the N word, we cool. Okay? All right. So, does this make sense so far? Finger length or freeform? I'm freeforming here, or I'm putting my fingers on it. My scalp is touching the fingers. That's what finger length means. This is the hair. This is the scalp. And if if this is the scalp right here, my scalp is touching. My fingers are touching the scalp. Whatever here comes off. Whatever I take off, when I take it off, I take it off. But everything is finger length. Guess what? When I do all of that finger length, I'm dealing with my 90 again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the same length all over. If I take a 2 and go against the grain, same length all over, 90 degree. Y'all with me? It's a 90 degree whether I pull it up long and go 90 degree,
same thing.
or if I take a number 2. It just looks more like this. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still 90 degree though. So I say that because I want you to understand when we start talking about guards, every guard that you have is a 45 in some form. It's a acute ankle. Every guard. Y'all ever notice that? When you put guards on there, they're all shaped. They all have a 45 degree angle going on with it. If you take the guard off, if I have a client, they're like, well, I don't know how much it's gonna take off, Miss Tasha. Take the guard off the clippers. Put the guard in the hair. And you know where that little groove is, where it sticks on your clippers on? Whatever hair sticks from under there, when you put it on that client's hair, whatever hair that sticks under there, that's what's coming off. Does that make sense? That's how much you take
Yeah,
off.
last time you checked when the guard change.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
And I'll say, here, let me see your guard. And they're like, putting the guard on the clippers. Then they hand it to me. No, take it off the guard. Take it off the clippers. Just give me the guard by itself. So number 3, cool. Let's see how much it's going to take off. Oh, okay, cool. That works. Sometimes you'll put a number 3 on it. It's not taking anything off. So I'm going to need a number 2. Right? That's how you know. Okay. All right. That's me breaking it down. Do I need to go a little further in that part? When it comes to guards, everybody understand guards have an angle graduation. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Haircuts.
So graduation cut is the 45 angle, right?
Yeah, it's on anything underneath a 90
Underneath.
degree.
Okay.
Yeah. Gradually getting shorter or gradually
There
getting
is the,
longer.
oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You have different haircuts, like you may have a taper. So I'm going to explain taper real quick. Is that too much explaining or do y'all understand
No.
it? All right. So taper. All right, taper haircut. You have most of the haircuts we deal with, guys. There's low, mid,
Medium, high.
Your low taper is like your one finger. What that means by if you take one finger and you put it by that width of your finger, you're gonna take it here. You're gonna put one finger right there. They say I want a low taper. That's where my white is going to go. And then when you take your 2 fingers, you're gonna keep it dark here. Because I'll ask them, do you want to still see a C shape? Right? If they want a low taper, guess what? They want a C shape. Understand? Okay. So my second finger is gonna hit right there. That's my gray. Everything else is my black. Make sense?
That is a low.
Low taper. Right? So 1 finger, 2 fingers, and then 3 fingers gonna be, well, technically the rest of it. So I'm gonna put it right there. Same thing in the back. If I want to keep it dark on the outside, I'm gonna do like a half moon shape. My 1 finger is my white. I'm gonna open that gray up. 2 fingers. See what I'm doing? That's my gray. Everything else is my black.
Okay.
This is my taper fade. Taper fade, tapering means just gradually getting lower. Only in the front where the temporal lobe is, or right in front of the ears, and it's just in the back. All of this right here, this stays full.
By bottoming it out.
Depends on what they want. So you ask them, what's the shortest? So like for instance, this guy got mad at JJ, the one that was over in the corner. He showed me a high fade, completely high fade. But when he said high fade, his high fade was here, right? His gray was here, and everything else was short. Like when I tell you short, the man looked like he had Sam's haircut, but shorter than Sam. You understand what I'm saying? That's short. So he wanted, like, I said, let's do a number 4 just to be careful. Anything else is shears on top. But he really just kind of had like that. It should be shorter than like old school Eminem. I was trying to think of somebody I can think of. But remember Coach Carter? Remember Channing Tatum on Coach Carter? Remember how short his hair was? Like a ball fade? Huh?
It feels like, isn't that like military? Remember it goes like
No, military is more like, military still you got some, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? You still got like top, or it could even be like here,
Oh yeah.
like a box. But his hair was shorter. So yeah, I mean, probably if you're looking for military shortcut, yeah. So all of this was his white, his gray, his black. So when you said, the question you asked was, in order to create the, what was your question, Jordan? I'm sorry.
Get the white, you bought it out.
Yeah, so he wanted it bald, right? Like, the picture looked bald. He said, I don't want it bald, I want number 1. So I made JJ tell me, and we're going to get into this in just a second. I made JJ tell me, what do you want your gray to be? And he said, well, I don't really know. It's like, you do know. Sometimes we just got to think about it. And then he said number 2, exactly. So number 2 was here.
Great.
And I said, just to be on the safe side, let's do, for your black, let's do a 4. And then between the back, we're going to do number 3, right? And the guy was like, well, is this a 1? This is right here. Is this a 1? But JJ put a 1.5 on it, which I'm okay with. Because I can always take more hair off. But I can't put more hair back on. But the picture he showed me was bald. And he said, I said, do you want it bald, like a high bald fade? He said, no, I don't want skin showing. Cool, let's do the one. And they left him on there long enough. But then eventually he came back and said that the top was too short. Whatever. It is what it is. So, it depends on, to answer your question, it just depends on what they're asking for. You ask them, do you want a bald? When they say, hey, I want a fade. In our mind, what we thinking? Bald fade. It's not the same.
Okay.
Right? It is gradually shorter. But a white guy could come in and say they want a fade and want a 2 on the sides. Where a black guy say a fade, he wants a 0. Right? Most black guys not gonna ever tell you most. Sometimes they'll come in and say, I'm just getting a fade, but I don't want to see 0. Huh?
Oh, that's called a blend.
A blend?
Ain't that a blend? You can fade without taking to the skin?
Yeah, you can. But you gotta specify when you say, hey, I just want to blend. You know what I'm saying? Most people gonna say, most of us barbers are gonna say, oh, okay, you want to see skin? We still gonna ask that question. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still trying to get it to blend. I want to just see it blend. I don't want a line in the back, right? They'll tell you that I don't want a line like right here, which is a skateboard haircut. A skateboard haircut is balded down to the skin, right? Just right here. So you can't put an extra line in the back. But when they say that, we think, okay, you want a half? We can do a half on it. It won't show skin, but it will give me a little stubble. Okay, yeah, let me have that. So it just depends on what they're asking for. You just got to specify. They may say, I want a 2. They may say, I want a 1. I want a half. I want it bald. Some people may say, I want a 00 or 000. What they just told me, because on the 76ers, on the blades that we switch out, that's a triple out. That's 3 zeros that we put on there. Triple out is very similar to a 0 on your clippers, right? A 5 out, 5 zeros on the blades are equivalent to your trimmers. You understand what I'm saying? That's like really tight, your trimmers. But a razor, the foil shavers are very equivalent to what a razor is, but a razor still get closer than a foil shaver. Does that make sense?
Box shaver is the 0.
Box shavers are the razor.
Razor. Oh.
You can't
Alright.
fade with those, right?
You can fade with those. Yeah. You say, are you asking me?
Like a box shaver?
Yeah, you can fade with them.
Where you change to the 5 zeros like you just said?
Yeah, your hand does it. That's the only reason why I'm showing y'all this. Because it's gradually, if it's all skin, it gradually has to do this. So just because you don't have a guard that you change out, your hand changes. Your hand. Before there was a such thing as guards and levers, that was your hand. So that's why you see me doing something like completely flat, it's gonna take it all off, right? But if my hand changes, what did I just do? I changed the angle. And so that's why you'll see us taking it back. That's why you'll see me standing it up. When I stand the clippers up like this, I'm no longer completely having that blade completely flat against the head. So I change it. Do I always use a guard for everything? Yes, absolutely. Same thing with box shavers. You cut against the grain, pop, 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 right? But if I take the box shavers and I come underneath the line and I go top, 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 with the box shavers, you see how I just blended it in? Because box shavers, when you put it in, it's a hard line. And then when you're trying to take it up, now I got to figure out box shavers, trimmers, that's my next step. Trimmers, 0. 1, 2, 3. Somebody grab the phone, please. You're telling me it's okay to jump to the next step. Before I do that, though, real quick. Mid fade, so that's your low fade, right? Then your mid fade, your mid taper fade is going to be my 2 fingers are going to go like where the C shape is, like in the middle of the C shape. I'm gonna put my white. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my white at 2 fingers, right at that. My white 2 fingers for mid taper fade. Make sense?
Yeah.
And 3 fingers is gonna be where my gray is at. Where my gray is at. Let's see where's that. Gray. 3 fingers. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right here. So it looks a little higher. So it's gonna look like this. That's my gray.
So
Put it in as a C shape already?
Yes.
Yeah.
I started in a C shape. That means you have to treat your clippers. Yeah, you have to treat your clippers like they're a pencil, like you're drawing it.
I thought it was a straight line.
Yeah, it depends. If you want to keep if you want to keep your sides dark. If you're doing a low fade, low taper, you always gonna keep this C shape. When somebody says I want a low taper, there's no question. I'm doing an edge up at the end. Boom, boom, boom. See what I'm saying? And then this should be the only thing, right by these sideburns right here, this should be the only thing that's a complete white tight zero.
Can you do a light edge up in the beginning? Or like just
Yes,
like the bar?
I always do that. I look at it like I'm coloring in the coloring book, but you know how they say trace outside the lines first? That's how I look at it. Anytime they say I want to taper, we're going to do the outline first. Because we're not doing the whole thing. But if I take it up too high at the beginning, it's going to be hard for me to see my line. So let me go ahead and do everything. Even this. And I usually go in and I do boom, boom. Then I come around C shape. And I usually, you could do this. You could do two things. You could go like this. This is what I do. Boom. On certain clients that I know I got, I'll go in and do like that. All of this is gone. See what I'm saying? That's my white. And then this is my gray. And that's my black. But there are certain clients that I know that come in that I know wants the full C shape. And then this is coming off. This is my white. This is my gray. But you see right here, I'm keeping that for my edge up. Just depends on who your client is. Now, when you said I thought it was all the way across, it's a trend right now. Everybody's trending this.
Oh.
No vertical bars, no C shape. That's considered, it's a diagonal mid-high. So what they look like is here, like mid, and then here, tiny gray, and then black. So it does look like a high fade.
Yeah, I think I watched a video like that and gave that to my dad. And
Yeah.
he was like, it looked cool, but
C cup, I'll go in little C cup and then do like that. I'll go like half the C cup.
I think he wanted like little C cups.
But you gotta know who your clients are, and you gotta know the differences. My high taper, my mid taper, my low taper, specify. That's why coach is saying write it on a head sheet. I want to make sure, because you're not gonna say that's what you wanted and this. No, you told me you wanted this, and I even asked you, and I asked questions, and I went and referenced it and made sure. Then I went to an educator to triple double to make sure that's what you said you wanted. Okay. Now, when it comes to that's taper fades, right? When it comes to like fades, just a simple basic fade, we have the different reference points. You're gonna see the nape of the neck. Then you got your occipital bone. You know the little knot on the back of our head. You got your parietal ridge. Parietals are usually like here, where the head curve changes at. That's the parietal ridge right here. And then you have your crown. Your crown is usually here. Picture somebody sitting a crown on your head. All right, this is my crown. So when you guys hear me talking, y'all will understand what I'm saying. Right here, parietal. Parietal ridge, apex, nape, crown. But guess what? The crown, let's go a little lower in the crown. Crown. Right here?
Oh.
Parietal ridge is usually from that corner.
The
Yeah.
see
The parietal ridge says if I place something on the side of my head, like this, where did the comb leave the head? Right here. These are my parietal ridges.
It's like chili bowl.
No. Just place your hand, place your palms on the sides of your head. This is my parietal ridge. You see right here? You see where it changes, where the head curve changes right there? Right there. Now, when they say the head curve changes every half an inch, you guys are going to hear me say that a lot when I'm helping you on the floor, when I'm in here teaching. Head curve changes every half an inch, except for your parietal sides. Why?
Because they're flat.
Because they're flat. The parietal is flat on the sides. Some people got some round heads, so they might change, right? But usually, if you do this here, they're flat. And then they start to change right where the ears at. So you're always going to see us talk about the parietal being boom, boom, right in this area, the sides parietal, but where the head curve changes at. And usually where the head curve changes, we start to transition into our crown. Okay? All right. Okay, now when we start talking about mid fade, high fade, low fade, anytime you're doing a low fade, you're underneath the occipital bone. I'm gonna walk you to talk about what low fade, mid fade, high fade is. Kind of how I did that. Say you're underneath the occipital bone. On the sides, you are underneath your C cup, or right, like let's say underneath your C cup, or right at your C cup. So you're like here. See that? You're gonna drop down underneath. This is my occipital bone. See what I'm saying? So under here is my white. Then I'm gonna open it up. Rule of thumb, if I'm doing a fade, you're gonna open it up until about 1.5 to 2 inches. So my gray will be about 1.5 inches to 2 inches open. So anytime you're gonna say open your gray, you gotta widen that gray open some. So it's all about how you set your gray in. So open your gray up. This is going to transition into his next question. How do I know what my white is if I never do it with a 0? Your white is just the closest, it's the shortest on the hair. All right, don't have to be a 0. Maybe a 1, maybe a 2, maybe a 4. That sounds crazy, right? But if it's a 4, that means I did a 4 here. And I'm probably gonna do a clip over comb around the sides. And then I'm gonna do shears on top. That's my gray. My darkest area is my black. My mid area is my gray. My lightest area is my white. Does that make sense? So don't associate with white being bald because it looks like, oh, that's white. No, that's not what they mean. Okay? All right. Does that answer your question a little bit? Okay. All right. So my white is here. My gray is here.
So most of the haircut or the fading come like it's in the gray. So like once you make the white, you leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it alone.
I think that's my problem.
Yeah, leave the white
I'm
alone.
to go back and push the white up.
Yeah, leave the white alone. That's everybody's problem. That was my problem. I'm the biggest person that, if you said a mid fade, I always gave you a high. You might have gotten a south side. If you said you wanted a low fade or low taper, you got a high taper. I wasn't trying to, I just didn't know how to keep the gray. I didn't know how to keep the white low. I never knew how to do a dark enough fade. And when I got it, I was like, oh, I killed that. You know what I'm saying? Like I did it by accident. Didn't really know how to do it. And I found myself, next time I know not to go too high. And I kept going a little bit higher. And I didn't want to. Until I started barber school. And this is where it changed my life, y'all. Changed my life. And it's so simple that I didn't even, it was like, dang it, why didn't I? You know what I'm saying? It's one of the moments like, I went to cosmetology school for that. How come they didn't tell me that? But that's not what they teach. They teach you just put the clippers on there and then you go in and you like do some ice cream scoops. That's what they told me. And then after you do ice cream scoops, then you go to a bigger guard and you do this at the top. Or you put the shears on it or whatever, what they teach us with shears. So that's your mid, that's your low fade. When you want to do a mid fade, everybody got this? Low fade. When you want to do a mid fade, you're going to go in. Your mid fade is going to be like right at the occipital bone. Occipital bone. Open it up about 2 inches, 1 to 2 inches. And that's going to be my mid fade. Right? So my white, my gray, my black. My gray's still wide. Okay? Over here, what it will look like is on the sides, it's going to look like right smack dab. Obviously these diagrams are a little thrown off, but they kind of draw some way. Right by the ear is what we're looking at. Boom, boom. Y'all see that? Okay. Let me switch. I need something darker. Okay. My mid fade is gonna start right at the. Nobody got no hairline. Okay, right in the middle of my C shape. Come all the way around, and I'm like right at my occipital bone. That's my white. Here is my gray, my black. See the difference in your transition?
Wow, it's the really wide of the gray part.
Yes. You want a good fade? Open that gray. I'm telling y'all, I can't stress it no other way. The most beautiful haircuts is the gray.
Does it matter what order you have to do the white first?
No.
Then the black?
No, you don't. But I will tell you this. When you go and you try to do the black, a lot of people say, well, I'm just debroken, so I'm trying to get all the black. Okay, that's fine. Then they'll go in and they'll put the gray in. I've done this before. Sometimes, depending on what mood I'm in, I'll still do it. I'll put the gray in. And then I'll go and put the white. But 9 times out of 10, mark my word, when you do go in a different order, you lose your head and you lose the system. You get off focus. You get distracted. And you're like, dang, what was I at? And somehow I wind up messing the haircut up. Or it took me longer. Dang it, I gotta go back. I should have just did the white, put the gray in, did the black. You could have a whole lot of hair on the head, right? Let's say all of this is dark. And you decide, I'm gonna change it. You decide all of this hair down here, right? And they said they want a mid fade. Well, I'm just gonna start putting the white in right here. Does that make sense? And then I'm gonna open it up, and then I'm gonna put the gray, put the black, and then I'm gonna wait to the end and then take that part off. That's fine too. But you can't do this if you don't know how to do this basic first, right? So before you get to that part, I always try to start with, let me just sit my white in, leave the white alone, move that out the way, even if it's a 0 or if it's a 1, whatever it is. All right, because I haven't jumped to numbers yet. We don't care about numbers yet if we don't even understand what we're putting in. You got to understand what we're doing. White, gray, black. Am I doing a mid taper, mid fade? Am I doing a high fade? What am I doing? And then obviously my black, if I'm doing a higher fade, I'm going a little higher. I'm going like, now, let me say this with a disclaimer. You could do a mid fade. You could do the same thing, right? You could do a high fade and still keep your white low. Why? Because I got room to grow up. I mean, room to cut up. Does that make sense? I got room to make it lighter. But go ahead and put your white right here. Still keep my gray open and black. I'm just going to keep it tight right there. I got room if I decide that I'm going to go in and I'm going to put a 0 here, trimmers here, box shaver here. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
I got room. But if I decide to put box shavers here, what happens?
Everything's shorter, right?
It's short. You got box shavers up here. Watch what happens. Now, and you start off like that. You come out the gate with some box shavers on the high fade. Southside, all day. Why? Because I got to open my gray up. You can't put a box shaver right here, mid C-shape, all the way around, box shavers. And then thought you was going to put some trimmers right here and take it out.
Right.
No. You still got to open the trimmers up. I just told y'all. Y'all can't just do like little tiny, like, that's what most people do. They'll do a 1/2 inch of a gray. When you walk away, oh man, my man got a chili bowl. Does that make sense? I'm teaching you the strategy and theory of black, white, and gray. The book not going to teach you that. They're not going to say, open your gray up. They're not going to say that. The book not going to teach you that. I've been teaching this for 8 years now in barbering. I've been teaching cosmetology for 14 years now. I'm telling you. The book not going to tell you that. But if I show you in theory when we cut, now if you put the box shavers on, that's why I tell people stop taking the trimmers and putting the line in right there. Because all you did is put that blade from the trimmers on first. No matter what you do, even when you come and you clean it up, now that blade, that line that you put in with, now you're going to have to figure out whatever you did, it's got to be shorter down here. So then you got to put box shavers or put a razor and do a razor fade down here. But everything from the trimmers up now, you got to do a tight, trimmers got to open up some. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, you got to get the trimmer line out. What you put it in with is, say it again?
Would you take it out with?
You know that. If I put it in with trimmers, I got to take it out with trimmers. Do I put it in do I take it out the same way I put it in? No. I come underneath it and then I got to change my angle. Y'all see that? I change. You ain't got to put no guard on it. You just got to change your angle.
Should we start doing it with our clippers?
You should start putting it in with your clippers. If you're going to do a 0, don't put it in with trimmers. Don't put it in with box shavers. Put it in with your 0. When I put a 0 in, then I go in underneath with my trimmers. Then I finish off with my box shavers to clean them up at the end. But too many people watching YouTube and trying to get what they get, and you don't know how long they've been editing that one video because they done messed it up. Hey man, put this shirt back on. That's what we did it with. I'm telling y'all because I know for real life. Y'all ever seen what's the name of it? Truck Wars. What's that show called? It's about 18 wheelers and it's like wars. Dang it, y'all know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Like Weed Channel or something like that, or
It's on the Nature Channel.
is it on Nature Channel? It might be. Yeah, it's like Truck Wars or something.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, the lady on there with the black lady, she sometimes has long hair. She wore a pink shirt for one season, like, because they would show the same the same continuation of her in one day or 2 days. Well, she came down here back in remember when we had the freeze? No, it was the year before the freeze. The year after the freeze, 2022.
Yeah, we had the freeze in 2021.
2021? It was 2022. She came down in 2022. They needed somebody to do her hair. And I was watching them as they were doing it. They said, no, ma'am, you have to do her hair exactly like she had it in all these seasons. So I had to go buy the hair. I had to come back. Somebody put the hair on and something happened where it was wrong or whatever. So I had to take that hair because it froze up real bad or like frizzed up real bad. So I had to cut that old hair out and put like a new wig on her and try to make it to where it looked like the other one. But they had to keep editing those scenes. But she had to have her hair the way it was. I'm telling y'all, when I did a workout video one time, my dad was sitting there and was like, nah, Dad, that lunge didn't look right. Can you delete that right out? You know what I'm saying? You know how you go back and you do a lunge? So I'm here, right? I'm here. I'm just going to show you. I'm here. And when I went down, it's like overhead. Let me see. I think that was right how I did it. It was like boom, boom. Yeah. Overhead, come back up, right? But on one of them, when I went back, when I went down, my leg went in. That's not cute. I can't post that. You see what I'm saying? You don't know how many times they edit that and how long it took. They did that video last Tuesday. It's this week, Thursday. That's a week and 2 extra days. But all we see is when you put it on up there, they just like, man, that's a tight fade. Watch another video. I guarantee you. Watch another video and watch how many times that video is like, no, 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 and then it switch. No, 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 and it switch. Y'all understand what I'm saying? You see the scenes that switch, boom, 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 and we don't even pay attention to it. We just acting like that whole video just went through and they killed it. No, they didn't. They edit because they're gonna mess up, but they don't ever show you how to get out of jail. I would respect the person that said, "Oh shoot, I went a little too high right there. Let me show you how to get that out." Did they ever do that? No. Show me a man that's posted a video, but y'all got real educators and won't use them. I'm just saying, like, and it's not, and I'm saying this, but please don't take this because I'm not talking about you at all. I'm talking about students that's about to graduate that's still messing up on haircuts. I can pinpoint the best students out there haircut. I can. I can call myself Phil Jackson all day. Can I do what Jordan do? Can I get out there and do what Kobe was doing? You think Phil Jackson can run up against Kobe any day? Absolutely not. Y'all understand what I'm saying? He's an old white man. He can't do that. But can he tell Jordan, hey, bro, if you take this over here and you do this over here, this will actually, you'll get a little higher on that. Can he, you see what I'm saying? I can do that because I know what I'm doing and I know how to cut. But I understand why people are messing up the way that they messing up because they doing stuff like this. Because they trying to be like that. No. Every time. And they sitting there and they proclaim to be the best. I've seen them for the last 8 years. I've seen some of the best barbers out here. 10 times colder now. Because they eventually changed their mind frame to say, Miss Yasha, we should have just listened. Coach, man, when I went to school, I had to make, like everything I knew, I've been cutting since I was a kid. And everything I knew, I had to just wipe my slate clean and say, hey, coach, whatever you teaching, I'm gonna do that. Then they took the white, the gray, the black, they learned everything that we taught, and they put it with the skills they already had, and now some of them are the tightest. I just did Billy Almond hair the other night. Billy been cutting since he was young. Cut it, all the HT stuff, right? Going to UT, dropped out of UT. Smart guy. 6'7", how old Billy? Tall Billy, 6'10", something like that. Tall, DJ, but tight, and his cutting skills. But he had to just completely give coach a clean slate. When I came, Billy was like halfway in the system. He was already almost halfway out. And I came as an educator learning how to clipper cut the way coach clipper cut. I was teaching his freshman class, and then after I got to teaching the freshmen, get them started with their mannequins, I came out to do this. So humbled to say that. That was in 2015, and I had 300 hours to learn, so I was a crossover. But one day, the light bulb went off. And when it did, oh, they should have never showed me this. Because I was cold after that. It was like, what? Okay, so let's move on. Box trimmers. If you put the box on first, then you put the trimmers, you're going to have to open it up. Then after you open it up, then you're going to put the zero on. Let's look at where we are. See where I'm going with this? See how high my zero is? But it's a high fade, right? And then look what my corner is. After I put the trimmers on, after I put the zero on, I got to open it up for the zero. Zero, no guard closed. Then what's the step after that? Probably a half, right? If I'm really blending, sorry.
A half open?
Half, all the way, no guard, all the way open. See that? Now y'all see why I said the south side? Look right here. It got just a little tonsure right here. That's all I got to work with now. You see what I mean? Because I went too high. All because I thought I was going to be cold and try to do it like YouTube and do box trimmers all the way up here. And it don't work like that. We good. Next.
Kids in this job?
Yeah, they are. Everybody understand that? Cool. So, are we ever starting with box shapers? Never. Are we ever starting with trimmers?
No.
No. Just do a zero. If they want a zero, just do a zero. I can always clean them up afterwards. Because when I do start with trimmers, I'm going to wind up riding them up. Because I can't figure out, it's like, but it's still too dark in that line. You ever did that before? I know I have. Plenty of times. Oh, but it's too dark, Miss Yasha.
You said for the guy, don't start with trimmers?
No. Because if you do, you start with trimmers, and then you do a half, right? And then by the time you get to your 1 or 2 or whatever you're trying to get, do you still see a dark line somewhere? And you're trying to get it out. And then when you open it up, now you just roll your fade up higher because you got to open it up. You're going to have to open, you're going to have to take the, if you put it in with the trimmers, I can do that. A lot of us been cutting long enough where we can do it. But don't try to be like the people that's been cutting forever, that's showing you videos of people that y'all watching out here to do it. Just do it with the trimmers at the end. Because when you're putting it with the trimmers, when you're putting it there, here, when I'm done, if I put it in with a zero instead, do the whole haircut, when I come back with the trimmers, I can do that here, come underneath the line, and then I can go boom, 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 boom. If you start with the trimmers, start a line lower than what you would have normally started at. Does that make sense?
Right.
Then put the zero in. But if I start with the trimmers at the line that they said they want the zero at, you're in trouble. And mark my word, like I'm not even gonna fuss or nothing. I tell y'all, he said I pick on him all the time. Zach do it all the time. Every time. Zach run into again. Zach just starting to get to the point where he's listening, and he's doing good. Cause it's like, oh, that's what she was talking about, yeah. Cause I can say his name now because I'm watching him kill these haircuts. He on point. But he was doing it every single time. Zach, stop doing it with you. Okay? Now,
Could you explain the concept of
black, white, and gray.
cutting up and down?
Yes. So, the next step, when you go into black, white, and gray, now you understand, if I can teach you mid fade, high fade, and all of that. But your drop fades, all of that stuff comes, I'm sorry. All of that stuff comes when you start doing like where I'm gonna put it at. If it's a low drop, you're gonna keep this, 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 and I'm gonna do this. That's my white. Everybody with me? Let's say this is right here. Y'all see here? That's my white. Then I'm gonna open it up 2 inches. That's my gray. See how big that gray is right here? That's my gray. This is my black.
Is that a drop?
That's a drop. Low drop. Low drop keep all my C shape. And then I'm a low drop fade. That became real popular around like 2013, 2014. Definitely 2015, everybody was doing it. Same way with these tapers right here. Everybody was keeping the line dark when they was doing the edge up first. Okay. Now,
Is a drop a burst too?
drop could, no. This is a burst. A burst is just around the ear. It's a half moon shape around the ear. You start right where the ear is. So boom, 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 boom. Where the ear is, you're gonna go 0. That's my white. Open that gray up. Boom. That's my gray, black.
The gray
That's
part
the
is the how many finger? 1 finger length or
The gray?
Uh-huh.
The gray is about an inch open, inch to 2 inches. Because remember, I can expand the gray more, right? Expand the white too if you want to, but you always start with a low white. You always wanna You want to be able to go more instead of, dang it, I took it off, can't take it off. I can't put no more back on. Okay. Now the concept is you want to put your white in first. You ready? Write this down. Place your white.
Mm-hmm.
Establish whatever number.
0.
Let's say you're doing a 0.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb is your grade
Mm-hmm.
is going to be about,
So
your grade is going to be,
number
sorry y'all, I
one.
don't trust the situation. So my grade, my rule of thumb is grade black. My grade is going to be, I'm sorry y'all, I get real like dude-ish. Your white is a 0. Your grade, your rule of thumb is you want to go 1 to 1.5 numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
Your rule of thumb is to go 1 or 1.5 up.
That depends on the top is how long, right? The
Yes, not necessarily how long though. That's
The-
good, Gracie. But it depends on your thickness, your
good.
density.
Yeah.
That's different, right?
Yeah.
You can have long hair and it's thin,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if my hair is darker,
Mm-hmm.
and the density.
Density.
If your hair is fine,
Mm-hmm.
I can improvise now. I can maybe do a half
Mm-hmm.
or 1 number up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it. If it's a 0
Mm-hmm.
here, low fade,
Mm-hmm.
0, 0 here.
Right.
If the hair is thick,
Mm-hmm.
dark hair, I'm gonna open it up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm probably gonna do 1
Or
or
one and a
1.5.
Right.
I'm gonna put a 1 on it, completely closed, or I'm gonna do a 1,
Mm-hmm.
open it all the way up, and put that on there.
Okay.
This is before they ever made a 1.5 guard, or before they ever made a half guard.
Mhm.
It's before they start cheating.
I always go in open. I would have went one open.
Yeah, you can always go with it open,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if the hair is real thick, let's say you got a motherland black boy. That's nice when you put it right. Okay. And oh, y'all, I tell y'all what, I had a lady, I was a girl. She had real long hair, and oh my God, this was like one of the toughest haircuts to do. Her mama was from El Salvador. Her daddy was from Africa. Whew. God dog it. This girl's hair was so thick and curly and tight, but her sister's hair was thick and just sleek and straight.
Oh.
But she had the worst of the worst. El Salvador? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then on top of El Salvador was thick curly hair. Her mom had thick curly hair, but her daddy had African hair. So it was like, why y'all mess that baby up like that? That's a bad combination. It was tough, right? So if that was her and she was getting a fade, I'd say do a 0.5 all day. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Thick hair, I meant to say a half or a 1. Thick hair, a half or a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna see the difference. It's gonna be so thick that no matter what I'm doing to blend it, it's not coming out. I'm still gonna see a heavy line.
Okay.
So now I want to see a heavy line. So now you gotta choose your battle. You gotta figure out what's gonna be the best. Let me go ahead and take it down to a half. Or let me put a 1 on it, and then I can go between that 0 and I can pull it up. I can blend it in, okay? And then the top part is, let's just say it's just a 1.5. Or a 2, jump up another half. So if this is a half or 1, I'm gonna either do a 1
1 or 2.
or a 2. Well, 1.5, could be.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we jump, so y'all understand what I mean by all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the hair is really thick and dense, and I'm doing the same thing, the darker it is,
Mm-hmm.
let's say this one's darker and dense, but this one's light. This one of my white boys with thin hair, right? Let's just say that. Well, now what I would do is I would take a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a mid fade. I take a 0, then I take a 1.5 by far, or a 2.
Mm-hmm.
You see how my 2 now probably look like a 1 on the blonde hair, blue eye guy? You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make it look, I need to make it look thicker.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can put a 3 on top. I'm just saying. It might be shears on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like my two roommates I brought in. The first one I did, his hair.
Am I keeping you too long?
No, I'm gonna leave it. She's gonna record the rest,
Okay,
so
cool.
don't worry about
Okay,
me.
cool. All right. I want to make sure I get all of this. Okay, so rule of thumb, we jump 1.5 up, right? And then my black, if it shears on top, if I'm doing long hair, my transition is gonna be 0, my 1.5, and then right here, I'm gonna jump another for my black.
Black is
This will be considered my black in my transition.
right.
Your black might look like clipper over comb, or it could be a 2 or a 3 before doing clipper over comb to transition.
Okay.
Okay?
3.
So you're jumping a number up. Be safer to jump a half guard up. You putting a 1 on it? Let me just do a 1.5.
Okay.
I can always take more out. And then if I did do a 1.5 and it still look too dark, guess what? I can come half of that, right? Right? And I can make 2 braids. What's the harm in it? 0, half. I mean 0, 1, 1.5. Clip over comb, shears on top. Right? Osvaldo, do you mind if I use you as an example? Because I've been looking at his haircut this whole time. Right? You see his gray? When they put this gray in, they did just put just this tiny piece, right?
Yeah.
When you put the gray in, you're gonna do your white. You're gonna put your gray in. See how white that gray is? See how many inches I got open? You put a gray in, you put a full gray in. But you gotta put the white in first. Then you're gonna go and put the gray in. Then you're gonna go and put the black in. This ain't really considered my black. This my black. See what I'm saying? I'll do it on this side. My 0, right? Or my white. See my gray? See how open the gray is? Then my black. Good transition. So now when I get into that, I gotta now take, which is gonna blow y'all's mind, what we think is, if I was able to shade this dark. I'm gonna try it with this one. Ridiculous. Nah, that's the wrong one. Shoot. Hot, white, okay? And let's just say my white is like clear. My gray. My black. Y'all with me? Watch my gray. My gray starts.
I see. So 3, 2, 1.
That's the gray right there in the middle.
All of this.
Yeah.
I got it. Yay! Exactly that.
I'm trying to give y'all a visual so y'all understand what I'm doing. And then why did I do it like that? Creating from back here. Why did I do it like that? What do y'all see?
So it looks like and is more down.
Huh?
Yeah, that is
Right here? What's this?
0.
0. What's this? So this is my, we can do that. On this side, this is white.
This is gray part.
Gray?
This
Black,
is the
right?
black part. Yes.
Let's do the numbers over here.
Yes.
0.
0. It's the 1
Say again. Where?
in the line, all the way.
Right here?
0. Next to 0 is the half.
What's that?
1.
What's that?
1.5.
What's that?
2.
Y'all got it. Why did I shade it like that? Right?
Yeah, it's blending like that.
To bring everybody out.
Yes. I got room to grow, right? I got room to blend.
Because y'all, I
Yes.
swear that's what I did on his head, right? But then when I got to the bottom, I still saw that hard line. I did put it with a trimmer, but I could not get it to just smash.
Put my line in. Put my line in. Put my line in. Watch. That's a big jump, right? But if I want to go in, what I put it in with is a 0. What I'm doing is when I come in here, see my line? I am no longer putting it in flat. And a lot of times we still trying to blend it and we're trying to go over it. But every time you go in flat the way you did, you're just going to keep riding the fade up. You're just making yourself a new line. You got to change the angle. Same thing, but change the angle, right? So I'm going to come here and I'm going to go like this. Watch me go slow. Boom. You see how I'm barely getting on top of the stairs? Elevation. Elevation goes like that. Can y'all see my blend?
Yeah.
See that? What I put it in with is what I take it out with. Elevation is upstairs. Does elevation completely kill the line? No. Big C now comes underneath it. And Big C says, I'm going to come underneath it. Well, now it's small C's because I'm using boom, boom.
You killing the line now?
Killing the line now. And if I still see anything, I go boom, 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 boom. That's the line that I saw right there. Right? That's not even that because I don't have a guard to hit this right here. Right? I'm going to show you something. If I have a half, if I open it up, if this is 0, let's do some math. And this is a half. And if I lay that half on here and kill it with a half. But if I take a half halfway up, what number am I?
One.
I'm a 1.
Yeah.
You see how you just made a 1? If you forget your 1 at home, you got a 1 in your hand. That's why I tell my mama can't do that. Right? My mama can't do that. A lot of people just like, no. No, you got to understand geometry. That's why I did. The reason why I started off the way I started, because I need y'all to understand the angles. Every guard is an angle. It just changes what angle am I at. If I have a half, and if I take it up halfway, boom, boom, boom. And I want to make a number 1, make a number 1. Elevate it, hold it upside down, and then come off of it and make your 1. Hold it upside down. You see how it's barely, it's not even really touching a whole lot. It don't even really start touching until I get right there. Now I'm touching upstairs. See that? I'm touching upstairs. I kept the left side the way it was because I want y'all to see the difference. Did I need a number 2 and a 3? A number 4? Did I need that? I didn't even need that. But I made a 2 and a 3 and a 4.
It looks like a freehand skill like that.
It is. You see what I'm saying? And it's not, there's no cockiness with it. It's skill that I can't take to the grave with me. Why would I hold this? Look at the difference from that. How many people would take this and put a 2 on it, a 1 on it, a half on it in order to get this? That's my challenge for y'all. So the first part of a skateboard haircut is learning how to do the 0. We got to do clipper over comb from the nape of the neck. You got to do a 0 at the nape. You got to do clipper over comb to the occipital bone, right above the occipital bone to the parietal ridge. You got to do parietal ridge here, clipper over comb, and then you got to do shears on top. But I want to show y'all first how to do 0 to take it. Just grab a mannequin that's got a little hair here, and the goal is to practice doing a 0 and blending that 0 out. Right? But we're gonna do 0. You're gonna take this middle section and do clipper over comb. We're gonna do shears on top. That's what our skateboard haircut looks like. That's where we're gonna start. That's just the basic, the beginning skills. But it's still white. My gray is right there. The bigger my gray, boom, boom, boom. I don't need 3 or 4 guards to make that. The bigger my gray. Did y'all see me mess up? Y'all see me go a little shorter? I went shorter right there. It's not about messing up. It's about how you fix it. Then I can put now a 2 up there or a clipper over comb. Put your clippers in. And your comb is no different. It's your hand. When I put the comb in, stop putting the comb in and immediately while the comb is still touching the scalp, I'm beveling out. That's not the goal. The goal is to put the comb in, bring the comb to your guide. If you did a 2 down here, let's say if I'm doing this right here, and this is my comb. Bring the comb to the guide. This is my guide, right? Do you see the short hair? Wouldn't that be my guide? Wouldn't I want that to blend? Right? So bring the comb to where this part blends. where this is sitting in the teeth of the cone, and then the rest of that comes off. But don't put it in there, and then you got some of this is real short, and then you also taking this out too. Now you done put a hole in my man head. You see what I'm saying? You done chopped them up. You done cooked them. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yay! I learned how to be like y'all. That's your challenge. Okay? Any questions? When y'all come over, I'm totally fine with saying elevate. I want y'all to mess the mannequins up. They're mannequins. They're not gonna cry. Elevation, Big C dice. Ideas. You put your white in, you put your gray in, you put your black in. When you get there, now you're going to establish wherever my white is, you're going to start how to not ride your fade up is the question, I believe. How to not ride my fade up. I don't know what I did. I've been on my feet all day and I finally got off my feet and I stood up and my feet are killing me. They're like burning. It's weird. All right, so right here, you're going to come underneath about a ½ inch under where you place your line. From your black to gray, or gray to black, however. Gray to black, black to gray, whatever. You're gonna start there first. What you put it in with is what you take it out with. So if you put your line in with a 2, you're gonna put a 2 back on it. You're gonna stand it up, come underneath the line about a ½ inch underneath the line. See that? Not down here. And then by the time you get here, this is what happens. People will put it down here. They'll put the clippers here and then they'll do like that. And then like, we showed you didn't come out because you didn't put it in. Right? So you got to put it here, ½ inch underneath the line. So by the time you get here, right here, you see it? That's the weight line. Then this part comes out. See my angle? Yeah, so you're going to take it ½ inch underneath the line, and then you go ahead and elevate it. Elevate. Okay? Then, Big C. Same thing, Big C. Lay it flat, ½ inch underneath the line. So, some people look at this, I'll call it like baby bottle, right? And that's what's happening with that mannequin that I just did. Y'all can see what this looks like. It's a white, then it's a darker white. Does that make sense? Then it's like a mid gray, right? Then it's a darker gray. Then it's a light black. But then it's a darker black, right? But all of this is still gray. Just shades of gray. That's what you want. That's why I say your gray is what makes you cut. But open up your gray. So you got and make your white lower. It's okay. Remember I had my white up here. I don't know if y'all remember that. Remember I brought my white down? Bring your white down here. Then bring and open it all the way up to here. Who says that's wrong? You got room to move. You got room to cook. Yes.
If I was doing the cut and they want 2 on.
Sides. If I'm doing here, right, like this, that's it, right? I got about this much room, but look how much room I got right there. See what I'm saying? So I got a white. Look how big my gray is in the back. I probably got about a good inch and a half right here on the side. But back here, I got a lot of gray space. See what I'm saying? It depends on how you want to play with it. If you want it to go right here, and you want your white like that, that's cool too. I still got a lot of gray in the back. But go ahead and put your guidelines in first, and then blend from my gray to my black. I can't ride my fade up no more. Because now I'm taking the top line out first. I still got this white down here, but it don't matter right now. Right? I know my black is secure. It's still a 2. But I'm going to blend that 1 and that 2 together.
And you're saying in between that, you can make more black, white, and gray?
Yes.
Within the gray?
Essentially, yes. Essentially, you can make right here. If this is a 1, you're going to do a 1. You're going to make
a long way doing that?
No, because I just took my clippers, same thing I did on this mannequin. I took my clippers, I put the 1 on it, and I did like this, boom, elevate, 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 elevate. What I did was I took the space out and I killed 2 or 3 birds in one stone. I didn't put a 1.5 on it and then open up the 1 you see what I'm saying? I didn't put a 1, open it all the way up, and then put the 1.5 on it. I didn't put a 1.5 guard on it, open it all the way up to make it a 1 3/4. I didn't do that, right? Because that's essentially what I'm doing. 1 3/4, 1.5, and then a 1 1/4, and then it's at a 1. Y'all understand what I'm saying? When I take an elevation, I killed 2 birds in one stone. It's right here. Yeah, I just did it on that mannequin. I showed it right in front of your eyes. I did it. Boom. It's a 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. Then it blends to my 2. See what I'm saying? Elevation kills the weight out upstairs. Big C kills the weight downstairs. And if I still see a little something, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna dice it. Done. Switch. Take that guard off. Put my 0 back on it. Do the same thing. Elevate, big, small C, then dice.
Downstairs is under the pivotal bone?
Right? Well, no. Downstairs is just under whatever the line you use. It's just holding it flat against the head. And now I'm just gonna do some small C's or big C's. Kind of like when I say ice cream scoops. When Cosmo used to show us, the teacher used to show us, you just take it and you come underneath. Yeah, you see the boom, 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 boom. We just going right on it. We're just going around it. But what you don't see, what we're doing is going, I just don't take the clippers off the head. I keep the heel of the clippers on the head. And then I bring it back down. The guard goes right over the line and Harry will come on off the line. But it's just over.
So like Dobby was saying, get like something that's lighter and more handheld.
Yeah.
So it's just like
To mess up your wrist.
this instead of
Yes.
going all the way.
Yes. Absolutely. Because I can do this. I'm gonna do it on this side. I can do this with a bigger guard. And I can come like that. See how I made that one line right there? See that? I already adjusted this one line right there. Now I need to come up and do this. Right? And then I can lay it flat. And then come shorter. See how I'm actually coming off of it? The cutting blade is right here. So whatever the cutting blade hits, it's just going to hit and miss it. I need to come on off of it right now. I'm off of it. I'm not even touching it. You just still see the clippers touching the head. So what people think is that I'm still going up. But what the problem is, most people don't see this part. And what they think I'm doing is they think I'm doing this. And then you see how I rolled it up some? Huh?
You don't feel that part either when you're getting
You don't feel that part. Right? And so, but a person that cuts hair and they get a haircut, they feel it. When you get, like now, your haircut's going to feel totally different because you know how to cut hair now. Before when you was getting it, you was just, right? But now when you...
Like they're really just like
Yeah,
this,
but now you know difference. When I used to cut Coach hair, when he first started teaching me how to cut his hair, no, gosh, that's not enough. I need you, that's not a 1 1/2. And I was like, Coach, this is 1 1/2. He said, put the 1 on it, open it all the way, and it'll be like half open. And he was like, no, that's not enough. Or you're not cutting enough off. Or I need to hear it.
What hair you was cutting?
Huh?
What hair you was cutting?
Oh, I got some pictures. I can show y'all. Coach used to have a whole lot of hair. I used to do a side part and everything. Had a full edge up, all of that. Yeah, Coach was cold with it. And then he got on. Coach got on his